Hi everybody, welcome to Two Mice on My Bookshelf, where I talk about my stuff. Today's Friday in New Zealand, so we have a fountain pen today. Hashtag Fountain Pen Fridays. This is a special edition for Bungubox in Tokyo, Japan by Sailor called the Dandelion. According to this card here, it is their Spring 2021 edition, and it has a little bit of a story here, and nowhere else that I have experienced so far where the power of suggestions are such a huge part of the pleasure of the enjoyment of the thing being collected. In this case, you could argue this is simply a green pen with a yellow cap. So you have this dark translucent color here, and then the opaque plastic there, and then return to another translucent section here. A 14 karat gold nib here, engraved with a dandelion with it says 14 karat there, if you can see, 585, which indicate the percentage of the gold, and then that's hard medium HM. This is going to be my first ever hard medium nib, and I know that the Japanese nibs are thinner than the European nibs, which at the moment is what I'm used to. My comfort zone is in medium, mainly steel German nibs, and when I say German nibs, I mean Yovo. I recently experienced Pelikan's medium gold nib, and it's beautiful. It writes like butter, and so you see it goes up the color of the flower, and then a little bit of white translucent transparent there when it becomes the yellow fluffy ball. So the whole story is laid out in what is essentially a green pen with a yellow cap, and the same could be said about their other collaboration with Pen Gallery in Malaysia, the Musang King pen, which is essentially a yellow pen. I call it the durian pen. The yellow isn't like this, it's the yellow of custard, very soft. It is the yellow of durian, in particular of the Musang King durian, which I will talk about in a separate video. The other one is a hydrangea, has a combination of lilac violet, lilac purplish with robin's egg blue with white metal trimming. It's beautiful, but in this video I would like to show you this one here. So my first ever hard medium nib, because there is no other choice. If I have a choice, I would have chosen either B. Is B broad or bold? I can never remember. A broad nib would be my preference, or even bigger, even a thicker nib called the zoom nib. I have a zoom nib coming on a Sailor as well, that is coming next week, and that will be my first ever zoom nib as well. So my experience with the Pelikan medium nib, which runs quite thick, led me to believe that I am better off with thicker nibs, because, which I was afraid of in the past because of my writing style. I don't write cursive, I write print. So we'll talk about writing styles and the broadness or the thinness, the width of one's nib in a separate video as well. Please stay tuned. So this is the story, as I said, the power of suggestion and the story, and it is a story of the dandelion being very cute yellow flowers that the arrival of spring is indicated by, and despite its modest appearance, the dandelion has a strong life force sprouting from the cracks in the asphalt, spreading its leaves and soaking in the full blessings of the sun to bloom. After blossoming, the flower turns into a white puffball with the seeds flying high into the air. Once it finds its new home, the seed takes root again, sprouts and blooms, repeating the cycle of life. This pen, the dandelion, was inspired by this flower's resilient life force. So once you hear that, you can't unsee the dandelion when you see this pen, and that is part of the pleasure and the beauty of these things. Really, it's little things in life. So that's the Japanese text on the other side, and it came in this presentation box like so. It came like so. It has a sleeve here which is really pretty. And the sleeve is a normal white, I think the normal white sailor sleeve. I don't know if I don't want to ruin this, and it's simply covered with this paper here. So that's a very cost-effective way of doing that. So instead of having to be left with special edition box sleeves that you can't use, this way the underneath is generic. So usually you have sailor at the top of it. It made me think that I heard that a lot of shops have to purchase their own boxes, either from Sailor or somewhere else. So I potentially, because this is a collaboration with Sailor, the Sailor logo isn't there. So those of you who are more familiar with collaboration markers, do let me know down below. The other two collaboration pens, one with Pen Point and the other one with Pen Gallery, both I believe have Sailor on it, but I'll do a video showing you my collection of pens, and in my Sailor collection I'll get into it a bit more. So one of the pens that I bought on eBay, because sadly I bought it after it became sold out everywhere, the one, the Hydrangea, which was a collaboration with Pen Point, did not came with a converter, and the one that came from Pen Gallery, the converter, was just an ordinary one. So this has a yellow tip here, which is quite special, at least I think so, because again, I only have two other Sailors, both collaboration with different shops. One didn't come with a converter at all, and the other one come with a pretty standard converter. So one of the things with Sailor that I often dislike is that they don't match the metal of the converter with the metal trimming of the pen. So sometimes the metal trimming of the pen can be, I don't know, this is light gold, and you know, that's white, or yeah, and the converter is like $7, so the converter is not cheap. Okay, so let's ink this baby up. So I'm not quite sure which ink we should use. I've tried this one. This is a lot darker. This is their Pilot's 100th anniversary limited edition inks, which I bought while I was in Singapore before the pandemic hit, or as the pandemic hit at the end of 2019. That's quite dark, so that is quite true to the real color. So whatever they put on there is pretty much how the ink ended up in print when you use it. So that's the purple is indeed like so. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe green. That seems a bit obvious. Yeah, or this one there. I've always wanted to try this, but it looks really light. It just looks so light. So maybe let's try this green. Let's try this green. The space I'm working here is really, really narrow, and I'm in danger of knocking stuff around, so please bear with me. have my viewfinder between the pen, and so it's a bit tricky. I'm actually looking through the viewfinder. Right. Let's try this puppy up. Oh, okay. I can feel the feedback, but it's very much, it's not scratchy, so it feels, what's the date today? I don't know. It feels like the LAMY, it feels like the LAMY nib, where it's, I can understand now when people talk about how it feels like writing with a pencil. It literally is, it feels like that. It's not something I'm used to, but, and that's a medium, so in Western nib that would be considered fine. It's not unpleasant. It's very much like this one here, which is a medium as well. Let's try this. It was quite oh, snag. Well, it is hard medium, isn't it? Is that what it says? Yep, there it is. Hard medium. It's a hard medium. Let me see if I can zoom in. Whoops. Okay, there you go. I think it's called soft fine, I'm not sure. Yeah. I have the camera in front of me between my pen and the page, so it isn't, and apparently I can't write and talk at the same time. Upside down writing. I don't know if you can really. I mean, it's, yeah. I mean, I don't do it myself, but some people do. Definitely not very conducive to it. There you go. I was out of frame. Sorry guys, I was out of frame. Okay, so fast writing. The ink flow is very consistent. It's not too dry. It's very pleasant. I mean, it's the thinnest nib I've ever, probably one of the hardest, but one of the more, so sort of like a bit of, and the ink is Pilot 100th Anniversary Edition, and what is it called? It's green. What is it called? Fukurokuju. Fukurokuju. Oh, there you go. Medium hard, 14 carat sailor nib. My first ever experience. Although this is not my first sailor pen, it is my first experience writing with a sailor nib. It's the thinnest. I think my durian is a medium, so I'm looking forward to writing it with that. If I had a choice, I would have chosen a much broader nib, but this is quite pleasant. Definitely a different experience, and it's good to write in small spaces like that. Talk to you guys later. Bye.